One specific frequency affects the way we behave. It's true. One specific frequency.
I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they bore him near before him. And there was given him dominion and glory, and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. And the kingdom and dominion, and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven, shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him.
One specific frequency affects the way we behave. It's true.
And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheels as burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers. And peace and blessing, salutations to the hopeful lake out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai. Pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful lake, the believers, the listeners who have came back to the obedience of the scripture through faith in Yahweh Bashem Shai. All right. And what I want to get into this morning, morning news and prophecy, dealing with the devil, how he's, pushed, so much false reality in the earth. And now we're seeing him take it to another level. All right. The earth is already, under heavy enchantments, of witchcraft. That the scriptures speak about spiritual wickedness, in high places. How we don't wrestle with flesh and blood, all right, but the oppression, because there was a time, all right, when the average Edomite, was able to just put pure hell, on Jake, okay, but over the time, the oppression evolved into enchantments from high on high, all right. The things that make our day-to-day oppressive is coming from on high, the elites, all right, the system that they run the earth with, and also the enchantments, the psyops, that they push in the earth. Okay, and it has fabricated, a culture of self-destruction for our people, a culture of violence. Okay, and you look into the earth now, now he's taking this thing to the next level, with a false reality disguised as an upgrade. Okay, and there's many people already worship, this man's technology. They worship, the do as thou will culture, this is going to look, all right, intriguing. They're going to be in awe, because the masses are still wandering after the beast, even the masses of our people. Okay, and we was warned of the devil how he would move. Okay, that's why having the wisdom, the true wisdom of the scriptures, prepares us, for the times that we are in. Okay, we understand fully what we're dealing with. Okay, as you go into Second Thessalonians, all right, chapter 2, verse 1. All right, and you go into the title or the precepts. It's called the man of lawlessness, man. You know, this man is the nation that's hated by the Lord. Here it is in the Bible. It says it in plain English. Esau have I hated. And Esau has been identified. All right, and everyone, such God fearing and believe in the Bible. Well, this is the man that the Lord hates, and this who's running the earth. So anything that this man, all right, has to offer, okay, his doctrine, his philosophy, his ways, you know, certain technology that he's going to come out with, these things should be rejected, man. Okay, but only through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai, as Israelites, we're awakened, to this devil, man. As we're not ignorant of Satan's devices, man. Literally, man, these devices that this devil is finna throw at the earth. All right, and people are going to be at awe. Okay, now you go here to Second Thessalonians 2:1. It says, "Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as the day of Yahweh Shah is at hand, man." And how much more now? If they was awaiting, the second coming then, okay, they had high hopes that Yahweh Shah, would return, in the ancient, pagan Roman Empire. But it wasn't that time. There was a lot of things that had to be fulfilled, okay, for the Lord. The stage will be set for Yahweh Shah to return. But now we're here, okay? The nukes are, ready. Those arrows that Jeremiah, spoke about, okay? The mushroom cloud Isaiah spoke about. Well, now that technology is here to fulfill those prophecies, man. Okay, the device, the technology that John the Revelator seen, the MOTB, the C hip, all right, in Revelation 13 and 16. Well, now that technology exists, man. So now everything is put in place, all right, and the stage is set for the second coming. That day is at hand now. This is their lifetime. Okay, when these epistles was written, that was the beginning of the end. All right, but now we're in the end of the end. Okay? It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there come a falling away first, and the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition." So we had to fall away. There was a major prophecy, Deuteronomy 28, all right, 64, all right, and 68, and various other curses that, befell us as a people. Okay, those things had to play out. All right, and then that grace will be opened up at the end, all right, of this captivity, leading to this man Esau Edom being revealed. Okay, so as we found grace in the latter end, right before the deliverance and the judgment. Okay, this man, the son of perdition, the man of sin, is being revealed. Okay, to what this man is a topic, all right, across multiple platforms, man. The prophets, alternative news, other nations are, you know, ousting this devil, man. Okay, and this man is being made out the criminal that he is. Okay, it says, "Who opposes it and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he is the Most High, sitting in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High, man." And this man wants the Most High's position in existence, man. He wants to sit in the seat of the all powerful, all right, Yahweh Bashim Shai. He wants that authority, okay, over existence, man. Okay, over the people, over the earth, over the creation. This is the authority that this man, all right, is scratching to get. All right, he's scratching and clawing to get within his NWO. Okay, and he's gradually making steps, to get there. He's been gradually, all right, chipping away at this agenda. Now he's at the point to where he wants to close this thing out, man. With his technology to make himself, with his AI, to make himself, the most high. He wants to mimic and do everything that the Most High does, man. He wants a complete control over the food, all right, the calories that you intake. He wants to know your thoughts, okay. He wants to know, everything. He wants to control your spirit. You know, this is the quest that this devil is on, man. Okay. Now you have, the underlings, these smaller, these super rich, they're here for the money grab. With the elites, they here for a power grab. Okay. And these men want a power grab because they make the money that people chase. Okay, they create the money out of nothing that people chase. You see, they have the resources, so now it's about a power grab with them. Okay, so I got a video I want to get into. All right, um, and it's a interview with this guy. All right, what's his name? Zuckerberg, the guy from Facebook or Meta now. All right, which these guys are front men. Okay, because Meta and Facebook, these are all, CIA, operations. All right, this is part of psychological operations and gathering the data. All right, gathering operations of the CIA. All right, and they just make it seem like they put this narrative behind, this so-called nerd who created Facebook in his dorm room and in college, and it's BS, man. Okay, this network, all right, is set up and established, all right, by CIA. Okay, and it's for the purpose of you know uh, behavior modification, gathering intel, okay, training AI, okay, facial recognition, okay, and many more other wicked things that the devil has going on. All right, but this guy Zuckerberg is just a front man, okay, to take the blame or get the praise. But at the end of the day, it's a whole system, all right, behind, all right, what these certain front men be talking about. Elon Musk is a front man, okay, and he's not the man; he's a front man, all right, for the operation, the major operation in the background, okay. So let's play this, all right, and we'll go from there. Yeah, let's go here.
This is the Nations Conspire channel. Welcome to today's show. Mark Zuckerberg did an interview on a popular podcast called The Theo Von Show. And I have to play for you some of the clips that aired during that podcast because they all revolve around the phone merging with your body. Some of these guys are openly talking about how the phone's going to be obsolete and the neural link and brain-computer interfaces are the future. We've heard the clips I played for you from Nokia at the World Economic Forum. Obviously, we've heard Elon Musk over and over and over again talk about getting these Starlinks up so you can never go offline, but also telling you that smartphones are going to be gone. In this interview, Mark Zuckerberg talks about a lot of the things that I've discussed over the years. And he openly talks about blending the physical realm and the digital realm and how we're going to interact with technology through our own eyes. So you won't need screens anymore. These are all things I've been trying to teach people out there so they could better understand it, and how I believe this ties in to the mark of the beast. He talks about how with these glasses, the wearable technology, right? He's talking about these meta glasses that you wear where on your eyes, you can see right through your screen, through your eyeballs, you see a screen, right? Right through your eyeballs, you see the interface that you would normally see on a phone. This is preparation. Wearable technology is preparation for this technology to be inside of your body. And he openly talks about this when he goes into it about how flip phones became obsolete, how smartphones will eventually become obsolete. Then eventually these glasses will become obsolete because this tech is going to be inside of your body. I want you to listen to this clip and listen closely. Pay attention to some of the things that he's saying, because he's talking about how in the future we will not need to own anything physically. We'll be able to do all of this stuff by creating holograms with our own eyes and seeing a world that we want to see through our own eyes. This digital realm is a hoax for the spiritual realm. That's what it is. It's make believe. This is all witchcraft that is being used in the name of technology. It might sound crazy to you, but it's not. If you pay attention to many of the verses in the Bible that talk about the spiritual realm, that's what the digital realm is being disguised as. Getting this tech inside of your body using things like telepathy, which he goes into detail about. He talks about how they'll have these neural interface wristbands on your wrist, and you'll be able to go from there and interact with your own mind. Listen to all of this stuff in this clip, including how in the future you will not need to own anything physically. And then the host of the show, who plays dumb, that's kind of what his character is. He kind of plays like a hick, and he doesn't really know, but he's really introducing his audience, like most of the alt-right media is, to this technology by playing dumb and saying, wow, that's neat. That's cool. I don't understand this stuff, but it seems like fun, right? Same thing we saw Ben Shapiro on the alt-right media do with the Google Vision or the Apple Vision Pro goggles, okay? These people are being used as operatives to get you on board with this technology. Nobody's talking about the spiritual aspect of any of this stuff. Nobody's talking about the dangers of this stuff. They're telling you flat out in this clip about how they're going to blend the physical and the digital realms, how holograms are going to become the new normal. So you're going to be seeing things that don't actually exist through your own eyes while living in this real reality that we're in. So in other words, you'll be sitting in your living room, and out of your own eyes, you could see, oh, a beautiful woman in a bikini, or you could see a cartoon dog running through your living room. They are blurring the realities together. They are mixing the realities together, all in the name of technology and entertainment and fun. And he goes on to show you flat out that he was in the back and he put this technology on. He even holds up the 666 hand sign while he's demonstrating this technology. It couldn't be more obvious. Pay attention to that, and pay attention to how physical things will not be needed in the future, because this ties back into the World Economic Forum, how you'll own nothing and be happy while they burn everything on the Earth's surface using weather modification, weather control, and every other thing that they're going to do by creating false wars and blowing things up and creating all these supply chain issues with tariffs and everything else. They want you to live as a prisoner inside of this digital realm and expect you to be happy. And that's what they mean when they say you'll own nothing and be happy. Listen to this in its entirety.
You've probably heard about Boxable's flagship product, the Casita.
But then the main thing is their AI glasses. So you can, glasses I think are like the perfect form factor for a device, where if you want to have an AI that you let see what you see, hear what you hear, it can talk to you. You can talk to it throughout the day. And glasses that's like, yeah, if you want to have something that has the same context of the world that you do, it's going to be glasses. And there's like a billion or 2 billion people in the world who wear glasses already. So to me, the chance that we look back like a decade from now and like all those glasses aren't AI glasses by that period, it's kind of like obviously all the flip phones were going to become smartphones, right? I mean, that was clearly a thing that was going to happen. I think that's going to happen with glasses too. But the other piece of this is that you're going to get the ability to kind of put holograms in the world, right? So our experience with technology today is, I don't know, it's kind of funny in a way how it's divided, where it's like, we have the physical world all around us. And then if you want to interact with something digital, you need to like put a screen up, right? So maybe it's like this, you have your small glowing rectangle, your phone with you, you have like, your screen if you want to like project something.
Yeah, your computer.
But I think in the not too distant future, this should be blended together, right? You'll have like the physical world, but all this digital stuff should just basically be holograms. You shouldn't need like a physical screen. Like there's no reason why in the future, you want to have a screen there. you'll just have glasses, and that screen will be a hologram.
Right, and that's what
You'll
you guys,
see it.
That's what you put me in.
Yeah.
Somebody put me in a damn.
Yeah. No,
in
that's
final season of Stranger Things back there.
Yeah.
I got put in whatever they put on me. It was like lens crafters makes lens crafters look pretty, lame.
Well,
it's different. It was crazy. I'll say it was like, can I say what happened to him?
Yeah.
It was, so you put the glasses on, and it's like an advancement of the pair that you have on now, right? So it's like years down the line. How many years down the line do you realistically think that those could?
I'm hoping that we'll have a version of that as a product in a few years, but it's
like
going
4 years or 8 years.
Hopefully closer to 4,
Okay.
or even less. But it's, I think that there will still be simpler glasses like this, and then there will be more complex glasses. Those will be more expensive. There's more
Right. It's what do
technology
you
packed
want,
into them.
kind of.
Yeah, but so some people will want like more tech. They'll want the holograms. Some people just want a simple experience where it's like, all right, I got the AI, I got the ability to listen to music and phone calls and do all that. And then obviously the less tech that you put into them, the thinner they can be. Which, I mean, some people like bulky glasses, some people want thin glasses, and
it was fascinating.
Yeah.
They had a thing on my wrist, right?
Like
neural
interface.
A neural interface.
You can basically control the glasses with your mind through signals that you're sending from your brain to your hand.
Yeah.
All right, you hear that? Okay, you hear that? All right. So something that's on your wrist can control something that's in your mind. All right, in the hand or forehead. Now, this is not the MOTB, but they're gradually getting there. Okay, these glasses and the wristband that comes with it is not the MOTB, but they're gradually getting there. Okay, let's get this definition for gradualism. Okay, the devils are slithering, okay, toward that agenda of the MOTB, man. Okay, and they're gradually introducing this technology to the masses. All right. Now, when you go into what does gradualism mean, it said gradualism refers to the principle of achieving a goal or change through a series of incremental steps rather than a sudden, all right, then a sudden or drastic shift. It's a concept that applies to various fields, including politics, social movements, and even evolutionary biology. Okay, which now, all right, you have these devices are wearable, but the next thing they're going under the skin. First the devices went from being handheld, all right, to wearables, to now the next step is under the skin. So they gradually introduce, these devices, and they make it seem as if they customizing, their whole goal is to customize it, for the people, the masses, to have the best experience. Going back to selling that dream of utopia. Okay. You see? So you go here, it says instead of aiming for immediate results, gradualism advocates for making small, consistent changes to build upon each other over a period of time, man. That's why all these things are connected, man. Okay. You went from, resources, to paper money, and you went from the paper money, all right, to checks, and you went from checks to debit accounts, debit cards. Okay, now you have all these pay systems, Vimo, Cash App, getting people used to exchanging digital credits pretty much. All right, and now the next thing, okay, is going to be wearable. Your bank account is going to be wearable. Okay, your ID is going to be wearable, which we're going to get into that in a minute as well. Okay, so yeah, we're seeing these devils gradually, get to the point, to where these wearables, all right, are going to go inside you, and it's going to be mandated. Okay, and he's going to cause certain things to happen where these things are going to be mandated. So now we're seeing these devils gradually introduce this tech, all right, to the masses, man. Okay, so you go back to let's let him say that again. Okay, go back a little bit.
Glasses on, and they're it's like an advancement of the pair that you have on now, right? So it's like years down the line. How many years down the line do you realistically think that those could?
I'm hoping that we'll have a version of that as a product in a few years, but it's
Like
going
4 years or 8 years?
hopefully closer to 4,
Okay.
or even less. Um, but it's I think that there will still be simpler glasses like this, and then there will be more complex glasses. Those will be more expensive. There's more
Right. It's what
technology
you
packed
want,
into
kind
them.
of.
Yeah, but so some people will want like more tech. They'll want the holograms. Some people just want a simple experience where it's like, all right, I got the AI, I got the ability to listen to music and phone calls and do all that. Um, and then obviously the less tech that you put into them, the thinner they can be. Which, I mean, some people like bulky glasses, some people want thin glasses, and
Yeah, it was fascinating.
Yeah, yeah.
They had a thing on my wrist, right?
Uh-huh.
Like
Neural interface.
a neural interface.
I mean, you can basically control the glasses with your mind through signals that you're sending from your brain to your hand.
Yes, it was fascinating. It was like I could like touch different nodules that I needed to and stuff for different nodes, whatever it's called. I could look at certain things and that would highlight what it was. And it was like it was just a screen in midair. And I could walk around the side, touch different.
All right, and you see the sixes, okay? Because these guys are juiced in, you know, Joe Rogan, Alex Jones, and see they're in these outright, you know, and they let them, you know, tell truth, you know, so they can have credibility. So they make it seem as if, you know, they're against, you know, the system, okay? But they spoon feed you, all right, the propaganda, okay? So you have these guys like Joe Rogan and you know, these podcasts like this, man, and these guys, what they do, they're introducing their audience. See, the elites, you know, they have control opposition to where you're thinking you're listening to, you know, this host, this podcast host who's against globalism, who's for America and you know, for the the citizen. Okay, but nah, man, they just reel you in. You know, they let these guys gather an audience, and then this is what they introduce to their audience, man. Okay. So he's throwing the sixes, all right, the glasses on, okay, and he's introducing his audience to this tech, okay. Like the elites, you remember the scriptures say they're more subtle than any beast of the field, okay. So it's just you see the sixes, letting you know, all right, this is wickedness in high places in effect, okay. This is the number of the man, all right. Let him to have wisdom, understand, all right. Three score six, all right, and six, man. You see, so. Let's let it play some more.
Nodules that I needed to and stuff for different nodes, whatever it's called. I could look at certain things and that would highlight what it was. And it was like it was just a screen in midair. And I could walk around the side of the room and then come back and the screen would still be there, but it wasn't really there in real life. It was just there with the glasses on.
Yeah, it's a hologram.
Yes. And it was crazy, man. I don't know. And then I was like, well, my first thought was like, well, how do you just get people to adapt to this? Because people aren't just going to go from where we are right now to adapt. And then I realized, okay, there's different stair steps. There's like almost like when you got the first smartphone, like you're saying, and then an advanced or the first mobile phone, and then you have the first meta glasses, and then it advances and stuff like that. So it was fascinating. There was a part where me and another man who I just met him, and we played ping pong, and I believe it was an Asian guy. And I don't know if they did it on purpose or not. And I don't know if ping pong is Asian, but people think it is. And I started playing with this man back there, you know, and the table, huh?
Did you win?
Dude, who knows? We're in the future. I don't know if they keep score. I think everybody gets a medal.
No, you definitely keep score.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And then in our future, not everyone gets a medal.
Yeah, I like that.
No,
are you not?
Yeah, no, it's like, that's.
And pay attention to what the devil just said. He says in our future. Okay. And he's talking about the future of the elites. All right. The 1 percentile. All right. The super. All right. Extremely rich. Okay. And the elites that they work for. Okay. He said in our future. You got to pay attention, you know, what these devils be saying. In their future. Okay, where the 1 percentile rules over the 99% with technology, man, full control. All right, over the rest of the population that remain. Okay, with technology, man, this is their future. All right, they're Elysian. Okay, they're extremely, outrageous rich. Okay, and everyone else impoverished. Okay, he said our future. Everyone doesn't get a reward. Okay, pay attention to these devils, man. Let's play it back a little bit.
There was a part where me and another man who I just met him, and we played ping pong, and I believe it was an Asian guy, and I don't know if they did it on purpose or not, and I don't know if ping pong is Asian, but it's people think it is. And I started playing with this man back there, and the table, huh?
Did you win?
Dude, who knows? We're in the future. I don't know if they keep score. I think everybody gets a medal.
No, you definitely keep score.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. And then in our future, not everyone gets a medal.
Yeah, I like that.
No, it's,
are you not?
Yeah, no, it's like,
entertained?
that's more,
Oreo, fire up the grill.
Yeah, no, it's
Loser burns. But no, we could play a game and it was not real. It was a ping pong table in front of us that was not real.
it was like 3D ping pong.
Yes.
Too. Yeah.
So it wasn't there. Someone could ride their bike, or like your dumb brother could ride his freaking bike. Like, dang it.
Yeah.
Ricky, bro, you freaking rode right through our net.
So, I mean, I think it's an interesting thought experiment. How many of the things that we physically have aren't going to need to be there in the future, right? So pretty much every screen doesn't need to be there, right? It'll just be a hologram. Any media, any book that you're playing, any board game, any cards, nice. Those are,
that'd be nice. Because one thing I hate is at the airport, all these TVs are on air. It's like everything is so loud now. It's like, can you just make it for you?
Just turn it down.
Why do we all have to experience this?
Yeah, no, exactly.
Painful noise sometimes.
Yeah, it's like you're driving through a city and there's billboards and nothing is personalized. It's like how TV used to be, right? I mean, in the future, now like all the stuff that you use on your phone, it's like you get exactly what you're interested in, and it's just a much higher quality experience.
Yeah.
But there's all this physical stuff that's just stuck, right, and is static. And I mean, everything I think is going to be able to. Sorry, not everything, but I think it's an interesting thought experiment how much of the stuff that we physically have today
Shalakia should be back. Yeah, I got a copyright suspension. Uh, but yeah, we'll just close out with a few precepts. All right, because the point being made. All right, we see what these devils. Everything is hidden. Because there's two major prophecies left. The MOTB. All right, and this Third World War. All right, and both are rapidly approaching. Okay, so let's go here to Revelation because the devil, he's going to constantly bring out this new tech. Okay, and people are already, worship this man's technology and his convenience, and that's what he's going to present. All right, this new digital prison. All right, he's going to herd people into the digital prison by selling it as a utopia and an upgrade. Okay, so you go here to Revelation 13 and 14. It says, "And deceived them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast." Now let's go to this word miracles real quick. All right, but that lets you know that podcast is juiced in too. Whenever you get a copyright like that, because you can't do nothing with when again. Just